ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Helps the channel grow, and it means a ton to us. We've got a solid MLB slate on tonight, and I have 5 picks to hand out for today's games. Guys, let's not waste any time. Let's just dive right into today's video. We'll go ahead and jump right into the Outlier screen, guys. If you don't know what Outlier is, they're the best sports betting tool on the market. There is a special link down below in our description that gives you guys a 7-day free trial. Do check it out for yourself. If you watch my videos before, you'll know how great Outlier can be. If you haven't, stick around, watch today's video, and I'll show you a little bit of what Outlier is all about. There's a ton of videos on the channel that show what Outlier can do for you guys, and we only give you a fraction of what it's capable of. Special link down below, no cost to you guys at all. You try it for 7 days, you don't like it, you cancel, no cost to you at all. But I promise you guys, you will not be disappointed. Outlier is a fantastic sports betting tool and a fantastic sponsor of the channel. All right, guys, move my screen over and let's get started with today's slate of picks. Our first pick is coming from the Cardinals-Marlins game, 6:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Jesus Sanchez here, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs for the Miami Marlins. You can get this on -105 on DraftKings or BetMGM. Also available on Prize Picks for -119 and Underdog for -120. As always, guys, make sure to shop around for the best odds possible. So for here, DraftKings -105, not a bad pick. Now, the data at first glance will not be good on this prop. You see only 3 of his last 10 games has he actually cashed this over, and only a 34% hit rate on the season for Jesus Sanchez. 22 out of 64 games this year for the Marlins. He cashed the over, averaging 1.34 HRRs per game. But there are a couple statistics that show why this prop, I think, is a pretty good one. Starting off with the head-to-head data here, and you see a 75% hit rate, 6 of his last 8 games versus the St. Louis Cardinals. He has cashed the over, averaging 2.63 HRRs per game. They have played a little bit so far this year in 3 matchups this season. He's cashed it in 1 out of 3 games. The last time they played, just yesterday on June 17th, he had 1 hit and 1 RBI versus the Cardinals. Speaking of 6-17, shout out to my Boston Celtics winning the NBA championship last night. If you watched my NBA player prop video, although the parlay didn't hit, it's pretty close. I hit every leg except for, of course, the PJ Washington leg did not hit. Go figure. But shout out to my Boston Celtics. Banner 18 officially won. I will be doing some sort of a thank you video for my NBA player prop viewers some point this week, maybe even today, or as early as today. Now, going down below here to the splits, this is where I really like the matchup. Just looking specifically at the head-to-head, Jesus Sanchez versus the Cardinals pitcher Lance Lynn. 5 plate appearances since 2018. You see a 500 batting average, 600 OBP, 2 hits, 1 home run, 1 RBI, and a 20% strikeout rate versus Lance Lynn. So not a huge sample size, but with what we have, pretty solid data. Now, Jesus Sanchez this year is batting .232 on the year, but versus right-handed pitchers, it does increase significantly to .261, which is a solid batting average overall. And on Lance Lynn's side, you see a .375 ERA on the year with a .245 batting average allowed. Not very good, but not the worst we've seen. But versus left-handed batters, it gets significantly worse. A .450 ERA, .266 batting average allowed, 1.2 home runs per 9 innings, and his OBA increases to .343. So the data across the board, see a lot of green there in the splits. Are we taking a little bit of a risk here? Yeah, but for -105 on DraftKings, you see it's a pretty decent matchup here in terms of the individual match between Lance Lynn and Jesus Sanchez. I thought about taking over total in bases, which is not a terrible one to take. You look at total bases, which I believe is at 1.5. Actually, it's at a half. Well, you want it at -195, you're going to have to go to 1.5, which is a plus money play. And again, the data is not fantastic there either. Although over half a total base there, if you're looking for a parlay pick, it would be -194, -195. Although you're using Prize Picks, you can get it for -119. Over half a total base is not a bad play. You're looking for something a little bit on the safer side, but we'll go with the HRR, the hits, runs, RBIs here. Take a little bit of risk here, -105, but I do like the spot here for Jesus Sanchez. All right, guys, the next game we're targeting here is the Reds-Pirates game, which is a 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Our first of 2 props actually coming from this very game. Our first prop, we're going Nick Lodolo here, over 6.5 strikeouts. You can go ahead and get that at -104 on FanDuel, -115 on DraftKings. Also available on Prize Picks, Underdog, Caesars, and BetMGM. So pretty much every sportsbook has this prop. But again, on FanDuel, they right now have the best odds at -104. Looking at the data now, again, we're taking some risks here in today's video. The data is not going to be fantastic here. You do see The current season, only a 30% hit rate this year, but he's come very close. You see 6 strikeouts. You see they're very close a lot of the time here. for Nick Lodolo. Now, the line is high because of that fact, right? Because he's gotten so close to hitting so many times, this line is slightly elevated. The bookmakers know exactly what they're doing here, but a couple things I like. The head-to-head data. Now, the last time he faced off with the Pittsburgh Pirates, you do have to go back to April of last season, but the last time he played off against them, he had 9 strikeouts in what was a 6-2 win for the Reds. And going down below, the matchup seems to be pretty good. You see the Pittsburgh Pirates batting versus left-handed pitchers this year. You see bottom of the league in almost every statistical category when it comes to hitting. You see strikeout percentage bottom 3 at 25.2%. We like to see that. That's the important thing there. Over the last 30 games, it's actually even better for us, 26.1%. That's 28th in Major League Baseball. Across the board, the data looks pretty solid. Pittsburgh strikes out a lot versus left-handed pitchers, which Nick Lodolo is. And looking at Nick Lodolo, a 25.6% strikeout percentage as a starting pitcher. That's one of the higher percentiles in the league. You see green across the board here. So a really solid matchup for Lodolo here. It's not like he hasn't done it at all this year. He's had a couple of really big strikeout games this season. 7 strikeouts versus the Cubs, 11 versus the Padres, 10 versus the White Sox. It's not like he can't do it. I would say the Pirates offense, not nearly as bad as the White Sox, but in terms of strikeout percentage, they're right in the same ballpark. No pun intended there. So solid matchup here again for minus 104 odds on FanDuel here. We're getting this one. A little bit of a risk. Absolutely. You can go ahead and get it at 5.5, which on Prize Picks, again, you guys looking for Prize Picks right there. Prize Picks, minus 119 over 5.5. Available on FanDuel for minus 225. Looking for heavy alternate lines maybe in a parlay, over 5.5. And you see here 7 of his last 10 games, or 7 of his 10 games this season. So, data changes significantly, but of course the odds are a lot higher. We'll take it at 6.5 here for minus 104. I do like the spot here for Nick Lodolo. And guys, for our second prop from this game, our third prop overall in today's video, we're going Andrew McCutchen under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Now, we're getting this from, again, Prize Picks, minus 119. Prize Picks, a lot of great options here. Also available in Underdog for minus 120, DraftKings for minus 125, and BetMGM for minus 125. This one, the recent data is not fantastic, but the overall data looks pretty good, which is good for us. So far this year, a 53% hit rate for Andrew McCutchen. 31 out of 59 games this year, he has cashed this over, averaging 1.95 HRRs per game. So that's pretty good for us here. And looking at the head-to-head data for McCutchen, my 70% hit rate versus the Cincinnati Reds. You see 7 of his last 10 games versus Cincinnati, he has cashed the under. He did cash the over last night. He had 1 hit and 2 runs in what was a 4-1 win for the Pirates yesterday. But again, overall in the year, a 53% hit rate. Of late, he's been hitting the ball very well. You see, in 8 of his last 10 games, he actually cashed the over here. So the data would probably tell you, hey, go take the over, but the splits look pretty good down below. You look at so far the matchup, Andrew McCutchen versus Nick Lodolo, 12 plate appearances since 2018, a pretty decent sample size in terms of a hitter versus a pitcher matchup. Excuse me. And you see 111 batting average, a 333 OBP, just 1 hit, 1 home run, 1 RBI, and a 33.3% strikeout percentage versus Nick Lodolo. So, really solid match there. McCutchen batting 244 overall in the year, but versus left-handed pitcher, that does drop to 212, so a significantly worse hitter versus left-handed pitchers. And looking at Lodolo's splits, now the ERA does jump significantly versus right-handed batters, goes from 293 to 326, but the important thing also is the batting average allowed, which is 216, which is actually pretty good. It does drop to 207. This is literally the same number. I don't know why it's in red. And a slight increase there in home runs per 9. But the moral of the story being the splits look pretty good. McCutchen's not hitting the ball. He's been actually having a pretty decent season considering his age, but versus left-handed pitchers, a little bit more of a struggle. And the matchup versus Lodolo in particular, he hasn't had a ton of success, against him in his career since 2018, I should say. Apologies, guys. I was up till like 4 in the morning celebrating the Celtics win. A little hungover here, so apologies if I'm stuttering a little bit. A little too much celebrating and partying last night for the Celtics championship win, but we're still here. We're still getting the job done. But I like that for our third prop of today's slate. All right, guys, we have 2 props left in today's video. Comment hot down below if you made it this far. As always, I appreciate all of you who watch all the way through. We are battling a heat wave here in the Northeast, here in New England. It's over 90 degrees. It's hot as fuck. Sorry to swear. Sorry for swearing. Sorry for cussing. But hot as balls. So comment hot down below if you are watching this far in today's video. Make sure you guys are cooling off with some of these picks. All right, guys, our fourth prop from today's slate. We're moving on to the Orioles-Yankees game, 7:05 p.m. first pitch. We're going Cedric Mullins under half a total base. We got it here from minus 111 on Caesars, minus 115 on DraftKings. Also available on Prize Picks and on Underdog. So a decent amount of sports books that is available. And like a lot of the props, it seems like today, the data tells a couple different stories. Now, of late, he's actually been cashing the over. In 5 consecutive games, he has cashed the over in total bases. However, on the year so far, a 49% hit rate, which is about 50-50, just about half. 30 of 61 games this year, he's cashed the under, averaging 1.07 total bases per game. However, go to the last 20 games, and a 55% hit rate on the under. 11 of his last 20 games, he has cashed the under. You see, he had a pretty nice streak there towards the end of May and the start of June, where he wasn't really hitting the baseball all that much. He's heated up a little bit of late. Almost said hotted up. Wow. Heated up of late. But when we look at the head-to-head data also, 7 of his last 13 times facing off with the Yankees dating back to April of last season, he's cashed the under, averaging 1 total base per game versus the Yankees. But again, a 54% hit rate versus the Yanks when it comes to covering this under. And again, guys, it's all about the split. Cedric Mullins versus Nestor Cortes. Again, a pretty decent sample size here. 21 plate appearances since 2018. A .095 batting average, a .095 OBP, .095 slugging percentage. Just 2 hits and 2 total bases in 21 plate appearances versus Cortes since 2018. A decent sample size there in terms of a pitching versus hitting scenario. And look at Mullins this year, not having a great season. 189 batting average overall. It does dip down to 151 versus left-handed pitchers, so it was already bad to begin with. It gets even worse versus left-handed pitchers. His BABIP drops to 195. His ISO .094, horrible. His extra base hit percentage, however, does increase to 50%, which is interesting. But the moral of the story being hitting-wise, he hasn't had that great of a year. And versus left-handed pitchers, it's not all that better. Although it seems like when he does get a handle of the ball, hits a little bit harder. Nestor Cortes overall this year, see a 3.59 ERA and a 240 batting average allowed. However, versus left-handed batters, it does drop to 3, and his batting average allowed to 224. So pretty nice drops there. Slugging percentage, extra base hit percentage, green across the board versus left-handed batters. So a really solid matchup here between Mullins and Nestor Cortes. The Yankees have been playing very well of late. I do think that if someone's going to beat up on Cortes, it's not going to be Cedric Mullins here. I like the spot here. For -111 on Caesars and -115 on DraftKings, it's a pretty solid prop. And guys, for the 5th and final prop of today's slate, we're going to the Brewers-Angels game, 9:30 p.m. first pitch. We're going Blake Perkins here. Over half a total base. We're going to go ahead and get this for -140 here on DraftKings. Pretty high line there. And again, like kind of the trend with all these picks today, the data it's not bad. It's not good either, though. You see, the recent data is not fantastic. Just 4 of his last 10 games has he cashed the over. Just a 40% hit rate, averaging 1.1 total bases per game. But in 2024 so far, a 52% hit rate on the over. 32 out of 62 games this season, he has cashed the over, averaging 1.23 total bases per game. So, although it's not fantastic in the recent data, overall, the greater picture, Blake Perkins is having a pretty decent season for the Brewers. And again, it all comes down to the splits is the reason why I like this prop. Blake Perkins is batting .244 so far this season overall. However, versus right-handed pitchers, that does increase to .255. Again, across the board, you see mostly green. His BABIP at a slight increase to .346. His ISO slight increase to .127. His extra base hit percentage, a slight decrease, but still 25%, which is pretty good. But this is all about Griffin Canning as well, who has struggled versus left-handed batters, across the board. A .476 ERA overall in the year is not very good, but it gets even worse at .567 versus left-handed batters. His batting average allowed goes, which is .255, which is not great to begin with. It jumps to .287, which is really bad. His slugging percentage allowed goes to .529, and his extra base hit percentage 42.2%. Now, Blake Perkins is a switch hitter. I'm assuming in this kind of a matchup, he'll probably bat lefty in order to take advantage of that. Again, baseball's a lot of analytics. The managers know. I'm sure he'll be batting lefty today and taking advantage of that matchup. Canning struggled all year long versus left-handed batters, and you have a guy who's been having a decent year. And again, when matched up with right-handed pitchers, he's actually a little bit of a better hitter than he is overall on the season. Again, all we need him to do is get a hit. A single cashes this bet. I like the spot here. All right, guys, and that does it for today's picks. Again, we do have a link down below in the description. I don't do the pinned comment thing like Ev does. We have a link down below. You click that link, and it takes you right to this picks page here, and you can follow along. You can add them right into your sports book, or you can just put them in yourself and just view this. But it's very simple. You just click add to bet slip, and it'll take you there. But there's all 5 of our picks from today's slate. You see on FanDuel, 1 pick available. All 5 props are available on DraftKings, 3 on Caesars, 3 on BetMGM, 4 to 5 on Prize Picks, and all 5 are available on Underdog. So you can use different sports books, whether you like DraftKings or Underdog or Prize Picks. Shop around the odds, whatever you prefer. A lot of options for you guys between these 5 Props. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Really do appreciate it. Apologies, I know the last couple of days haven't had any MLB videos. With the end of the NBA season, I got some personal stuff going on in my own life, which I'm not going to get into because you guys aren't here for that. You're here for picks. But I do want to apologize. Of course, now with NBA over, my attention is now 100% towards MLB, so no more distractions in terms of NBA videos and whatnot. The MLB is my whole focus until, of course, September when NFL rolls around. Last quick little announcement before we close out the video. Throughout the summer, what I'm planning to do now is do daily MLB videos Monday through Friday. I know normally I go Monday to Saturday, but with the summertime, it's a busy time with the restaurant and everything. I just feel like it'd be a little easier, more consistent if we do Monday through Friday. Ev, of course, does his MLB videos 7 days a week. The guy's a rock star. But I will be doing my videos Monday through Friday. That is the tentative plan as of now. Things could change if I feel up for doing more videos, we'll see how it goes. But as of now, the tentative plan is through the summer, Monday through Friday, you'll get a daily MLB video. No videos from me personally on Saturdays or Sundays, but you'll still get a video from Ev. But guys, that is it. Enough yapping from me. Thank you very much as always for watching. And until tomorrow, I hope we're all winners. Have a good one, guys.